Hello and welcome to episode 43 of Fables from the Pickled Quipper. We pick up after what's been a little break for us, but should be no break for you. Back at the Reaching Hand, as the Hand of Aegis go to, I guess, collect on their contract. Let's find out what happens next. So, Bador, you have just barged on in while the others are outside the Reaching Hand at the moment.
Is it barging into a bar, though?
You have barged in.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you know another way, to be honest.
Okay, well, that's fair. Well, I mean, am I being followed, or is it like literally I'm just being abandoned?
We all just stop outside.
Okay.
Listen.
Well, he seems to have this covered.
Yeah, because I mean that will definitely affect the way I do things.
I will step in behind you.
Okay.
Claire and Cassette are getting their pie game planned out first. Like,
Yeah, like, do you think a blueberry? Do you think a strawberry rhubarb? What do you think?
Because we were just at. I mean, how long ago would it have been since we were at that other bar?
I think it's evening now.
Is it?
So, because we were at the Merry Demon for lunch.
Okay.
So it's. I think.
I have
ended
late
in
afternoon.
Yeah.
So, that's fine.
It's almost,
Could be pie
late-
time.
late tea,
The
early
perfect pie
dinner time, pie time, perfect pie time.
You're in the pie window.
In the pie, 5 by 5.
Shall we get some pies?
Yeah. Shouldn't we get the money first?
I don't know. That probably
Well-
makes sense. I just don't know how long the meeting's going to go.
How are we planning to approach Wallower? Because I know some of you were a little bit upset about how many things we encountered for how much gold he promised us. And I kind of want to make sure we get some pie before we maybe get kicked out of the bar.
It's
Tavares
not a
is
bad
just
idea.
Standing there looking unhappy.
Let's take this table.
Guess that's enthusiastically nodding.
We should probably discuss how we're going to approach it.
Over pie.
Yes.
I mean, I guess so.
Eska's going to be initially enthusiastic about the pie, but then kind of quieten down about it. Because I only have 5 coppers. So she's just going to wait and see what happens.
Oh, no, walking over here because that's already got the group money out.
Oh, good.
Or her own, I guess.
It's the same thing as far as she's concerned, anyway.
Yeah, I was actually looking, do I have any money? How do you play this game?
I had to.
Okay, gold. I got money for pie.
I
Don't
got
you guys worry.
platinum.
One of the bar staff comes over and hooks you up with some pie. How many? Are we talking like one slice each?
What's the pie of the day?
So pie of the day is actually it's a steak and kidney. They're going savory today. That's not to say there isn't sweet, but the pie of the day is savory.
We could do a slice of savory and then a slice of sweet.
I say a full pie savory, full pie sweet.
Oh boy.
There's 5 of us.
I mean, that would equal about a slice each.
Okay, you don't mean each.
Figured 4 slices Tavares, 1 for everybody else.
I mean, Silverius does eat an entire sheep's leg every time he has lunch, so...
A high protein diet.
So the bar person. I can't. I guess waiter. Oh, that just seems really formal for a bar. But anyway, the the waiter says, yes, hello, sirs and madams. How are thou doing today?" No, that's not true. It's definitely not that establishment. So as far as sweet pies, they have apple and some miscellaneous berry. when asked to repeat, the waiter just kind of mumbles berry. And then there's also rhubarb and custard again.
Alternate plan, we could get one of each pie.
Yeah, I think we've narrowed ourselves a little bit too much.
Yeah, by one of
Rhubarb
each
and
type.
custard.
Yes.
I just ate, and that made me very hungry for.
It was
pie.
hours ago. Hours-ish ago.
No, I meant me personally,
Oh.
Spencer. actually starving now.
Okay, so pies are brought out along with refreshments. And it'll set you back 8 silver. So you have food and beverage. And you do see over by the door the two sort of I mean, basically henchmen is kind of how they look. You know, that's kind of essentially how they look, yeah. They look like henchmen. But yeah, the guys who sort of guard the door, basically, are just over there. And eventually you sort of like, someone makes eye contact, and there's a little vague nod of recognition. But there's no urgency on their part to come over and interact.
Do they look like they know who we are? Like, is it,
Yeah.
or is it just a random? These people are staring at me.
You've probably got a good angle on this. It looks like they know who you are. They're just chilling by the door.
So, before we go in, does anybody wish to make this more awkward? Personally, I am somewhat happy to be done with it. So, to take the money and go. But I know there was some talk of more deep conversation. If that is the case, I may step into the background slightly and let one of you plead our case.
Claire pointedly looks at Silvarius.
It is no mystery that I am not pleased by the encounters we made. Whether or not those were known about might influence my opinions. But we are here to collect our earned payment. And should Drakesburg be in our future, Rolovar perhaps has a means of transportation. And maybe even a bit of know-how for when we get there.
That's true.
This is our destination next, is it not?
I would like to scope it out, at the least. Get a feel.
It seems quite important, having not been there before. And of course the matter of Potentate Duarte. Much to be discovered.
It sounds like we just head in and feel Rolliver out then.
I think so. We agreed to it. We didn't really. Well, I wasn't there, but how many questions were asked? Do you feel like he was lying to us?
He was a hard man to read, as I remember.
mean, it feels like it was a year ago. So
Yeah.
I don't really remember how it went.
I also don't think we have much to gain from being difficult about it. If anything, we can use it as a way to build some goodwill.
I will say this. I've thought back on it, and my feeling is, had it been known that there was a dragon down that route, I feel like it would have come up as well, because that is a trade route. If that was a common occurrence to be attacked by a dragon, I feel like somebody at some point would have mentioned it. So I feel like that was an unknown entity that we encountered.
And we did all take scales. We could show those to him to prove that we did encounter one.
It's true. I would fear trying to pry more money out of him, but we could at least perhaps let him know that we went over and above the call of duty.
Maybe not for money, but maybe for help getting to Drakesburg.
Aye.
This falls in line with some of what I was thinking about. Should we not have been there to take care of that, it would have been he himself or others, associates of his. And judging by, let's say, the fatigue on him from prior, since he handed us the contract to begin with, I'm not sure they would have fared as well. We have earned some sort of compensation.
We have other proof as well that we encountered it, and Eska just lifts the bottom of her shirt to show the still quite fresh scar across her stomach. Says, we still bear some of the scars of the battle too, so if the scales are not enough, I think this shows that we took on something rather large.
So Varys takes a whole slice of pie and just eats the whole slice at once.
He was in keeping.
Does he swallow it like a duck?
Throws his head back.
Just whole.
Do we just see it moving
I
down
was going to
his
ask
throat?
how he swallows a duck.
Yeah.
The whole bar watches in horror and amazement.
Yeah, right.
Soft golfer claps are heard in the distance.
Okay, so pie is consumed.
Let's head in. Hello again, I say to the friendly guards.
They don't actually say anything. They just sort of give you the old, just a nod, basically.
May we see your Oliver? He's expecting us. We did a job for him.
Sort of puts up a hand, and one of them heads inside, and you hear some sort of mumbled conversation, and then comes back out and just says, "In you go."
Thank you.
And you find yourselves back inside the rather plushly furnished sort of front room area of the Reaching Hand that seems to be the Red Fang's preferred base of operation. The room's not quite as full as it was the last time you were there. Get off the table and leave those pies alone.
Ooh, pie.
You see 3 people with Rolivar there. Most of whom you probably recognize from when you were there before. and you see the white dragon wormling sitting on the armrest of Rolvar's, who has he has that whole couch to himself, and he was just talking to the wormling as you come in, and smiles broadly and says, "Friends, you have returned. Oh, you look awful. I mean, no offense, but you look awful."
We had an interesting time.
Well, I hear that you were successful in clearing the path. Word has already reached my ear. Good job.
Thank
I
you.
assume you are here to complete the contract, yes?
Indeed, we are.
Very good. And he just sort of looks at you.
Incidentally, we ran into some other interesting things in the tunnels.
That can happen, yes.
Have you been traveled that path before?
Of course.
Ever run into any dragons?
Dragons. No. No dragons. That is not I would not expect dragons down there for sure.
I guess Eska will flick the scale onto the table.
I mean, you say flick. I don't think this is necessarily very small scale.
I mean, flick as a sort of flick of the wrist. Just sort of toss it
I see.
onto the table. Yeah.
And Hazim watches it intently.
And pardon the pun, for a sense of scale, how big is the scale?
I mean, it depends which ones you cut, honestly. But I mean, some of them would probably be like, the size of plates.
Like a standard dinner plate.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then some would be, a lot smaller. But
Yeah.
so, yeah, it just depends. I mean, it was I think it was a large creature, so looking at sort of 10, 15 feet from nose to tail.
I think personally I'd have picked a sort of hand-size one. Somewhere in the middle.
Okay, that makes sense. So he sees this scale hit the table and just sort of stares at it for a second, and then slowly gets up and walks over and picks it up and inspects it. Oh.
Yes.
And he looks over to the dwarf who sits like the other side of the wormling, and just sort of like shows it to her basically, and she just goes, "That's the dragon."
I guess just for completeness' sake, does he seem genuinely surprised?
You can roll insight and see.
13.
Seems surprised. Yeah.
Okay.
And he hands it back to you and says, "Okay, so you found a dragon, a blue dragon, no less, or you found a scale of a dragon."
So far as pulls a larger scale out and puts it on the table.
Claire will also pull her scale out and put it on the table.
Okay, I get the idea. You found the dragon. I assume it did not just hand this over to you.
At this point, Eska will again pull up her midsection armor and shirt, just so he can see the scar on her stomach, which is still pretty fresh.
And he was about to sit down, and he sees that, and he just kind of like stops mid squat and just kind of tilts his head and stares. It's like, that is a big cut.
He was a sizable fellow.
No wonder you look so bad. It seems like you left half of yourselves down there.
Mm.
Well, I am impressed. How big was this dragon? And he finally sits down.
Eska kind of looks to Silverius because she feels like he's more of an expert.
It was big enough. One might say we were fortunate it was not larger.
Yes, that is always the case with these dragons, you know. And he idly sort of scratches the chin of the little wormling next to him as he says that. Well, it seems that you have done a bigger service than I perhaps intended. I assume you also dealt with the orcs completely, yes?
Yes. Yes, they are cleared out. They seem to be some kind of cult. But again,
These things happen.
yeah, I'm not an expert on orcs.
Okay, so we have... I think we have enough to say that we are accepting that you have completed your contract. And he actually looks over to the human over on the couch further over and says, "You have the funds." And you see them sort of count out a bunch of platinum into a pouch, and they just throw it over towards Bardor, since Bardor's closest, and it lands on the table, scares the cat off. And Bardor, what do you say?
I was going to ask if I caught it because I have a feeling I would, just. But that's fine.
Well, it wasn't thrown far enough for you, if that helps. It was just
No,
sort of thrown onto the table in front of you. And it has it's a glorious weighty thud as it hits the table.
Mm-hmm. I'll pick it up, kind of give it a feel, up and down a little bit.
You see Hazim sort of grin. It's all there, trust me. If it's not, well, I'll be having words with my friend over there. I have a reputation to maintain. 800 gold pieces was the agreed upon price. I would say that you have definitely earned it.
I'll nod and lean over and give it to Cassette.
She'll take it.
To that end, Rolivar, we wondered if we might bend your ear on something.
I see.
We had been looking to go and investigate Drakesburg, see what's happening over there. We wondered what you might know about the island, if you have a good way of getting over to the island, or suggestions as such.
A lot depends on what you're planning on doing there and how well you want your presence to be known.
I think at this stage it might be safe to say that we want to go low-key, if you understand.
Of course I understand. So, this is doable, but you have to... there are ways. You need to know the right people. Fortunately for you, you know the right people. Yeah, I know someone who's heading out there soon. Could perhaps take you and your party here. Would be, low-key, as you say.
Mm-hmm. It is newer to us even than Delzimus, so a certain curiosity has piqued our interest to investigate. But we
An
know,
interesting place.
yes, we know it is a little different feeling, so we want to tread carefully the first time.
Indeed, you do. Certain members of my party, none here right now actually, but certain members of my party have fallen foul of the Drake's Wardens on more than one occasion. Easily done. I would advise that any of you inclined in the arcane arts, keep that to yourselves.
Good to know. Do you, might I ask how we would go about setting this up with your friend?
Well, when are you looking to travel?
I think as soon as is convenient for them. Eska kind of looks round to make sure that people look in agreement.
Convenient for them and beneficial for us.
Indeed.
It is not our plan to make a big show of things. Simply the lay of the land, have you will.
Very well. As you know, the journey takes a little time,
Mm-hmm.
several hours. Well, it depends on the ship. You will likely not be one of the larger ships in this particular endeavor, so you will probably not be one of the quicker ships as a result. Plus, you would be, well, you wouldn't be taking the normal route in, so. I could probably have something ready for you in the next couple of days.
That would be perfect.
Tavares
There was-
holds his hand up.
You mentioned the usual way in. Elaborate. Where would we be entering?
Well, if you go in through the main port, then you are subject to be registered with the port authorities. If you are trying to be low key, this is not the way to do it. We have other ways of getting in. More than one, actually. So, depending on exactly how low key you need this to be, if you, how do I put this? If you need to arrive in the middle of the city as if you had always been there, that is a challenge. If you are happy walking through one of the side gates where they do not inventory everyone coming in and out, but you would have to walk past the guards. If you're happy doing that, it's very easy.
I think that would be reasonable, especially if it allowed us a little expedience. I'm sure we can find ways to work around that at the time.
Okay.
Claire tugs on Eska's sleeve real quick and just whispers to her, "But Eska, in a couple of days, we have our meeting at the Pickled Quipper."
Yes, that's true. We may have to. I feel like this is an opportunity not to be missed. So perhaps either if this interferes with it greatly, we could perhaps check in again with them and see if they could shift the meeting slightly for the Pickled Quipper. But perhaps this would be just after it. I don't know.
When is When is your meeting?
The 29th of Marpineth?
Right.
Is that what we're in?
Yeah.
Okay.
At lunchtime.
At lunchtime. So if it was after that, that would be great. But I understand that ships have schedules and such.
The ship has whatever schedule I tell it.
Oh, okay.
it's not the problem. If your meeting is quick, you can be back here by, say, mid-afternoon. I can get you into Drakesburg that evening.
How does that sound, everyone?
Nod.
Yeah, sounds good.
Nods.
Claire nods.
Okay. So, standard fee is 20 gold per person for this special treatment.
Alvarez holds his hand up again.
Oh. The way I see it, in our original contract, it was simply orcs. Now, should we not have taken care of this for you, you would find yourself down there. In that event, the Blue Dragon would likely have been yours to deal with. Now, I believe we have garnered, at the minimum, respect, but even more so, perhaps a bit of a favor, or at least discount from a standard fee.
Discount. That is amusing. You know, discounts are not usually my business.
Blue dragons are not usually our business.
I suppose that's fair enough. Make a persuasion or intimidation, depending on which way you're feeling this is going.
He was trying to be persuasive. Poorly. 11.
It's a good thing I like you. Fine. This one time, no fee. You have certainly earned my respect. A dragon of any flavor is no mean feat. So, yeah. I'll make the arrangements. There's no need to come here. After you're done with your meeting, go to the dock. Look for Adard, and you can head out onto the waters.
Thank you, Oliver. You've been most generous with your time. May I ask one more question?
You may.
Oh, good. When we originally met, you informed us that we had been treading on your toes a little bit, work-wise. In respect of that, is there anything that we should avoid taking up that's happening right now, just so as not to cross purposes? Because I would very much like to keep this relationship good.
Indeed, a good relationship would be beneficial for all. For now, I think you are fine.
Please let us.
I will be. Oh, yes, no. I will let you know if you are treading on my toes again.
Thank you.
You will find out one way or another.
Feel free to preemptively tell us, even if need be. Because we're money hungry and we'll take almost any job, so.
I remember being that way once. Very well. Yes, for now, you say we are fine, but just don't overreach. I think we'll be okay.
Thank you.
We should call instead of the Pickled Quipper, we can call it the overreaching hand.
Oh god.
He would love it.
Oh man.
Cassette. Make a wisdom saving throw for me.
What?
Goodbye, cassette.
14?
Okay. So anything else for
Don't
Roland?
love that tone.
It was the pie, wasn't it?
Pie forced a wisdom check.
Yeah.
No, I think unless anybody stops her, Eska will sort of give a respectful bow and grab her scale and head back out into the bar.
Claire will grab her scale and do her weird, awkward curtsy thing that she does that's like half bow, half curtsy. And then scuttle out of the room behind Silverius.
So you are able to leave, and as you do, the guards just sort of close the door behind you.
We're all sort of backing out past each other. Eska just says, I think that went pretty well. Right?
Claire leans over, puts her hands on her knees, hyperventilates for a second.
It was a lot more gentle than last time.
I am not displeased.
I have a feeling, and we haven't really had to broach this problem before. I have a feeling we may be entering a world in which some of you may be a little less comfortable. So this will be an interesting trip. But yes, just
What do you
consider the subterfuge, the keeping a low profile. Maybe something to think about over the next couple of days. How we can adapt to that and not cut such quite such a noticeable figure when we get over there.
Does the whole party look at Silvarius?
I mean, I literally just pulled up his sheet to remind myself how tall he was. So I imagine everyone else is doing the same thing.
What?
Well, as far as me, you've all got full permission to slap my hands as much as you need, because I've pretty much gone from a farm to basically an all-girls convent. So I really don't know what I'm doing anymore.
You're doing a great job, Claire. Don't worry. You really are. All I would say is, let's think about how we can not look quite so intimidating and resplendent in this kind of situation. Sometimes blending in is the way to go, and we've not done that in Delsmer, and that's fine. We're known here, but that's part of the reason why I feel like we need to maybe work on how we approach Drakesburg, because we may be known to some over there as well, and if we haven't come in officially, we don't really want them to be thinking about that. So perhaps just maybe we can get some garb that is a little, a little cloakier, a little less shiny, that kind of thing. Just something to consider for when we make the trip. No point in smuggling ourselves in there and then marching in and being like, my name's Silverius. We just gotta...
Excuse me.
Just an example. It could have been anybody.
Why is it me? Why not Claire?
Okay, no need to go over there and be like, my name is Claire. No, we should probably avoid that.
But what I'm also hearing is that this episode is also about to turn into a shopping episode.
I mean, it might not be a bad idea to
Like,
pick
I'm
up a few
hearing-
things.
I'm hearing makeover episode, like montage, like outfit try-ons.
Cassette stares off into the distance and just grabs that big bag of 800 gold.
Cosette, you're gripping that golden head awfully hard.
So you have a little under 2 days.
We should probably
yes, until your meeting with Bjorn.
should we perhaps rest up a little bit as well? I feel like we've had quite a frantic period here. Maybe a little R&R before we embark on what could be I don't want to use the word dangerous, but you know, perhaps a little time to heal from our wounds would not be a bad thing.
But we've nearly had an entire day.
Yes. I mean, if you want to, you know, that's fine. If you want to have another adventure, that's okay. Sometimes
I
it's
mean,
good.
there's always those boars. We got a whole day.
It's true. Eska limps towards the door. I guess we could do that.
On that matter, what is our current wealth?
Well,
Where are you
currently-
at the moment as you're having this conversation?
I think that we might not be directly in front of.
With all these
That's what I'm
people.
Good question. Where are we relocating?
We could wander outside, perhaps. I suppose. We've eaten the
Yeah.
pie. We've had the meeting. There's not really a great reason to stay in there, unless Cassette's wisdom save was to see if she could resist more pie. I'm not sure.
I don't know that a 14 will do it, to be honest with her.
The true enemy of the campaign, diabetes.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
According to my last notes, we just got back on the 26th. It is the 27th now. So Eska's suggestion definitely of like a good night of rest is probably really not a bad idea.
But we're at the end of today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, it's evening.
I mean, but still,
Yeah, no. I-
not a bad idea.
But there's plenty of time to plan for tomorrow's tasks.
Yeah, and you'd be aware, just for the record, that the Reaching Hand does not have accommodation. You could try and find somewhere else in the Harbor District, or you could look elsewhere.
I mean, I figured we'd stay at Old Tried and True, unless we're checking out some other establishments.
And we're a little walk away from the
Respite.
yes, that one. I mean, that's like an hour or so, isn't it?
From where?
From here to the respite.
No, it's probably more like half an hour. Because the respite's kind of vaguely middle-ish.
Okay.
Is this tavern just like a full-on tavern, or is there any like specific, I guess, like area unique features in here? Not like coming to mind specifically like a quest board, but is there anything like
Oh, I see.
of note?
It's pretty just taverny.
Tavern. Okay.
Yeah. Most people, and you know, the numbers have kind of come up and down since you've been in there, but most of the people present are look like people who are working in the docks, in one line of work or another. There's a large number of candles and stuff, and there's some wall sconces, and the candles seem scented, probably to try and drown out some of the fish smell that's accompanying the patrons.
Is it a multi-story establishment?
It is not.
Okay.
That's just one big open plan type thing. I mean, obviously, not pictured, but I'm sure there are some supporting beams and such.
Yes.
Because otherwise, that's some pretty decent work.
But yeah, I guess when we go outside, we'll discuss funds out of earshot of people.
All right.
So we have, counting the 800 gold, I'm assuming that's 800 gold. We'll have to count that later to make sure. But if we count that, I have... Platinum is...
10.
Platinum is
10.
what?
10 gold?
10 gold?
Yeah. So technically,
Or
that was
five.
that was 80 platinum.
Okay.
But
Oh, so that was what was in the actual thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am carrying 385 platinum, 101 gold, 50 silver, and 3 copper. Along with 4 citrine gems. Well, maybe 3. I have 2 that are 15 to 30 gold, 1 that's 30 to 60 gold, 6 aquamarine tourmaline from the Orc Cave that we don't have a value on yet.
a lot of money, man. I didn't stop paying you guys so much.
And I thought somebody else was carrying a small amount of money, but maybe not.
I am.
I think everything we've gotten recently has been given to me, but there may be a little bit of group funds somewhere else.
Not group funds.
I think your we give all group stuff to you, as far as I remember.
That's not to say some people haven't collected
Acquired.
a little bit of stuff for themselves.
Yeah, and I think there's been a couple times where stuff has been, we've like handed out 5 gold to everybody or something along those lines a couple times, so people probably have money from that. And arguably, we should maybe do that more as well, because we've been very diligent about adding to the group fund. But I don't
Be
know.
okay with splitting up some money a little bit.
Just getting a little of each, a little personal money each, just for when we get split off and need to buy stuff or whatnot.
Yeah. I've got 10 platinum and some change.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 40 gold right now and 2 silver.
No one needs to know how much money I have.
I've still got 5 copper.
No.
Oh.
And yet still manages to take in every orphan that we come across.
Yeah. Her heart's bigger than her wallet.
Not hard.
Yeah, I think that's why I thought we had, because we had 2 hidden bags, I thought, didn't we?
Did we?
We had
One small and one
I
large.
think one was normal, a normal bag if I remember, and the other one was the magic
Oh, like a
bag.
normal bag of holding, and then one was the hidden...
Yeah, we don't have a bag of holding.
No.
It was the bag of golding.
Yes.
Yes.
It has a real name, but you guys have never found out what it is.
Bag of golding.
That's not his real name.
Peter?
That's the
Well, it wouldn't be rich.
Oh yeah, that's true. The other bag was a stick bag, as I remember, because we also found a stick.
Harvey's haversack or something.
Or if you ever sack. Where's my money?
There's Bador.
So how much do we want to split up? Like 20 gold each or something?
That
Or
would certainly put me over
between
the
you.
Poverty line.
threshold. Yeah. It'd make it less embarrassing to go anywhere.
Oh.
Admittedly, I am holding on to some pretty nice gems, if I'm being fair. But money-wise.
Oh, me! I only have 4 copper and 9,000 platinum.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so poor.
just
It's all
needs
like
just
bound up
needs
in assets.
yeah, it needs to go to a pawn shop.
My funds aren't very liquid right now, but all right. So 20 gold each.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds good.
That sound good for now. Okay.
All right. You are welcomed by Simone at the Traveler's Respite.
Oh, I
who,
thought you said we're welcome to buy Simone.
No,
Welcomed
No.
by.
you are
Okay.
welcomed by Simone at the Traveler's Respite.
Okay.
She says, food
Just kind of
or
says canteen.
or just drinks or rooms or what are we doing tonight?
No more food, please.
More food? Okay.
Nope, no more food, please.
Best.
Drinks and beds.
All right. She set you up with drinks and beds. It'll be 2 gold total. Anything else before you get your R&R for the night?
If we're all sitting at the table, I'll say, I understand that we know what's going on, sort of, with what's, the plane shift or whatever's happened, but I'm not necessarily opposed to staying under the radar, obviously, but, like, we don't need to go into Drakesburg, expecting that we're doing something illicit. We haven't done anything to upset the law, so we don't need to go in trying to provoke.
I certainly wouldn't want to provoke. Very, very much the opposite. I just I kind of don't want anybody to know that we visited anybody important. Because I feel like as we don't understand what's going on, we know that there are those that watch us. We don't really quite know who or why. And everybody we talk to says that this is a place. They kind of give us a look whenever we bring up going over there, and I in an ideal world, I'd love to just swoop in and out without anybody knowing, just to get a feel before we approach it more directly. But in that sense, definitely not provoking.
If we are going to be looking around for what's his name, we're gonna end up potentially garnering some interest because apparently he's connected.
I think we may have talked about that, and I think Claire was quite adamant about this time not doing that. So I'm happy not to even begin to look into that this trip. I kind of agree with what she said, that until we know what's going on a little more with the place, ruffling too many feathers might be risky. Perhaps more we can just get a feel for the lay of the land, check out the it's supposed to be quite what would you say, a bit more of a vibrant place. Maybe there are better merchants over there we can check out. I think that was all we were hoping to do this time. I at least thought. If we want to change that, that's fine. But I agree. If we do start to look into too much in that area, I think we will rouse people's attention.
What time frame are we intending on or planning on spending out there?
I suppose it depends on how easy it is to get back. I didn't think to arrange the journey back. It'll probably be dependent on Rolliver's friend, I guess.
I had intended on speaking with him on the journey. He should, having frequented Drakesburg, know a bit more about it. Or at least have some suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
I also assume if he's Rollover's friend that he's gonna come back eventually, and I guess it's probably pretty frequent. So I'd assume we'd be bound by his schedule.
That was my thought too. My thought was we come back when he comes back.
And we have but a set amount of time to accomplish our desires.
Indeed, unless things take a turn in a different direction, in which case who knows? But yeah, it's very unknown to us, isn't it? So it's very hard to make hard and fast decisions on such.
But I agree with Eska that maybe tomorrow we should spend some time getting some clothes that are less noticeable than what we wear. I'm assuming all of our armor is going to stand out over there.
I look at my armor and I'm like, I don't know. I'm
Well-
pretty drab the way it is.
Maybe not some of us, but and she gestures at her Silveris and Cassette.
If they do not fancy the arcane, these might be a bit of a flair.
Perhaps we could leave the armor with Kaylee when we go over, if you guys are willing to do that. I know your armor is important to the way that you fight, but of course we're not looking to fight.
The basement of the shrine, I would assume, would be safe. And if we take your suggestion of maybe get cloaks, and if we come in at a side gate where they don't check us, we could always hide our weapons on our backs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Not
that
a
way
bad idea.
we're at least not going in completely unprepared.
Yeah, that sounds sensible to me.
If we do go in looking like we're adventurers looking to get into something, that could potentially arouse suspicion.
I would feel looking like merchants or just general townsfolk. We could perhaps head to the two halves and ask what the fashions on Drakesburg are, and if they're any different, if they have anything of that nature. Just blend as hard as possible.
That sounds reasonable.
It'll be a slightly different flavour of adventure than most of what we've done so far.
I feel we have handled Holmesford. How much harder could this be?
That's true.
That was plenty unique.
Unique, but for some reason I find Drakesburg much more terrifying. And I don't know why.
Not to be crude, but I do feel like had Holmesford turned on us, not that we would have done, but we could have wholesale slaughtered the village. Drakesburg is full of powerful. Drakesburg
Claire
is
just looks horrified.
Did Claire or did Eska say that? Or is
yeah,
this...
yeah.
Okay, well then Bardo busts out laughing.
I'm just saying we could have done. It was never on the table, but there was that feeling of power from knowing that we were trained in our disciplines and they were farmers. Drakesburg is full of Drakes Wardens who we know are slimy, and who knows what the nobility is like. It's definitely scarier. Sorry, that wasn't a good pep talk, but what I'm saying is we should be on our guard.
And this is why I hate politics.
Yes. Yes. Well, hopefully we won't have to engage in any of that. We can wander around. We'll just act totally natural. We'll visit some stores. We'll see what the vibe of the place is like. We'll get right back on a ship, come home. What could go wrong?
As long as everyone is on their best behavior, everything should just go completely fine.
Why
As
are
she
you
stares.
looking at me?
Didn't even have to say it. Didn't even have to say it.
So far, it's just like,
There is nothing wrong with my behavior.
Meanwhile, Claire's going through her mind like a little like card index. Is there a mute spell that lasts like 24 hours that we can just
Claire preps sleep.
Yeah, maybe we can just leave him behind.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, everybody just doesn't wake Sawarius up.
Yeah,
After
but
the night, they just get on the boat.
you know we'd get there and Silverius would be like sailing in at the prow of a huge ship with an angry look on his face, just like right through the front doors.
Oh my gosh.
Yelling, guys, you forgot to take me on our secret mission.
Yeah.
Guys.
He's got the
How
horn-
dare you
just
forget to
blasting the-
bring me?
the horn of amplification.
Yeah.
Roaring
that's right.
through.
Guards, did 4 suspicious-looking people come through here?
And Avengers, where are you?
I might join you guys tonight if that's okay. If you're okay to sleep with the window open. She's talking to Cassette and Claire.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, before bed too, if you want me to take a look at that gash on your stomach, I'd be happy to.
Thanks. This is gonna sound weird, but I want it to be a reminder. So even though it may take a little longer to heal, what you did initially really closed it up. I think it will heal fine. I don't want to forget that.
I understand.
But
It's a trophy earned.
yeah, sometimes a reminder like that helps keep me focused.
If you don't want magic healing, I can always bind it for you in the normal way, just so you know it doesn't get dirt or anything in it.
I would not object to that at all. Thank you. If and when you do that, by the way, Eska will pointedly keep her front to you when you do it.
Okay.
She'll make a point of kind of standing near the wall so that you have to kind of feed it round with your hands.
Mm-hmm. Claire honestly probably would not notice.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I think she'll
Yeah,
try
I
and do
don't
it sort
think
of
she would
subtly.
Yeah.
And if Claire kind of like finds it awkward, she'll kind of like help out by grabbing the ends and whatnot, rather than actually step forward and make it so you can move.
And I really think Eska's probably skinny enough anyway that I think just wrapping it around her torso would be easy enough that I don't think she would question it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think she would pick up on that.
She kind of looks down at it afterwards and says, "Thanks, Claire. That does feel a little better, actually."
Claire looks very pleased. You're welcome.
And Eska will kind of sort of bed down next to the window, just keeping it crooked so she can hear the outside, but kind of wanting the company.
Make a perception check as you look out the window.
Uh-oh. 5. Natural 1.
Isn't that so like true to fashion?
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice night out. It's a nice refreshing breeze coming in. You don't notice anything in particular.
Okay. Claire, Cassette, come look out the window. I haven't noticed anything, but
Just in case.
what a lovely night it is, eh?
Just for flavor, before they go to bed, Sylvaris spends about like an hour outside, just running through some drills. Having had a day of no action, he's keeping his form down.
I will be in the room, asleep.
Not running any drills. It's just sleeping drills.
Yep. Just
All right.
enjoying the downtime.
Okay, so you successfully rest, everybody. Congratulations.
Huzzah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we were already full before, weren't we?
Yeah, I think we were, but
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
I mean, let's be honest. After some of the stuff we've been through,
Oh, yeah.
I actually technically drained a bunch of spells and sorcery points.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm back again. Hooray.
How did you manage that?
It was keeping turning into elves to run after the...
Oh, yeah.
Eska's random acts of espionage.
Yep.
yeah, I definitely have on my notes that we need to work on our communication.
Hand signals
Yeah.
that we actually know what
Yeah.
they mean would be great.
Eska's been meaning to go through her hand signals with everybody. Maybe on the boat trip we can have a seminar.
Because Claire still thinks that shopkeeper was maybe weirdly flirting with her and is a little confused about it.
That's boys are gonna be weird tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
man.
Start doing the Millhouse eyebrows.
Oh, I can't remember. Which one did she turn into?
If I may, just before we go down to breakfast, Eska says, "Guys, can I take a couple of minutes to maybe fill up my glass and boil the kettle? Would that be okay?"
Yeah, that would be okay.
Oh, thank you, random villager who's in our bedroom.
Don't you mean villager? That's me. I've decided I'm a villager now.
I'm looking over my stuff now about about what to take with me to Drakesburg. Because I carry a lot of random stuff.
That is unexpected news.
Is it?
Nope.
Is it really?
I mean, I think the only things you've really got to be careful about are weaponry for the most part. I think weird stuff would be okay. Like, it wouldn't be that unusual to have, like, torches and rations and... Maybe crowbars and grappling hooks might not be a good idea.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I think I'm even going to leave my bow, assuming it all happens, because it's a longbow. I mean, you can't really hide that,
Yeah.
so...
Same. I got a lot of arrows, so...
I've got some very nice arrows. I don't know.
So you wake up. It is the next morning.
8:21.
That's true.
Thank you for that scream, James.
No, you're welcome.
The date keeper.
No, it's good. It's I'm glad to have it.
When
So
you're editing.
We've been together for 3 weeks.
It really puts it in perspective.
Yeah, no, that's basically the main reason I'm trying to do it, is to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, we have spent a lot of time together in these 3 weeks. Still.
Every waking moment.
Yep.
Except
No,
for
it was that one
Florith.
time. Yeah, I was gonna say Barter went to the Florist on his own. And
Oh
we
yeah, that was
split up
fun.
every now and then. There was that one time where Silvarius went and cried like a little baby in the basement.
Nobody knows about that.
Jeez.
Oh man.
So yeah, it's morning. Breakfast is furnished.
So what are we going to do today, guys? Do you want to do something strenuous or quiet day around town?
I personally don't like wasting days.
He's got his arms crossed.
Well, it's not necessarily strenuous, but we have to get our disguises for Drakesburg.
It's true. That's on the list. Are you saying you'd want to go somewhere, Silvarius, or do something of? I don't know where I'm going with this, but are you saying you want to do something?
Provided there were something we could do. Obviously, if there's nothing to do, then, well, your first, or your suggestion previously, talking to the two halves about what we should even wear, perhaps a good place to start.
So there first, and then make decisions after. I mean, the way we are, we could get lost for a day just doing that. So maybe over planning is a bad idea.
Were we planning on checking on Vil?
It might be too soon. He's got to settle in.
If we don't, Claire can message him. Just to see.
That's true.
Riskin left without any warning. I don't want this to be some sort of reoccurrence. And if it is, something more maybe in the works.
That's fair.
I'll message him maybe after we're done shopping and see if he wants us to come visit him or not.
Sometimes I just worry, Silvarius, that maybe we come across a little clingy, because there's times where we go visit people 3 or 4 times in one day with, and they seem to get fed up of us.
We should see Gethin.
You know, we haven't seen Ingrid in a while either.
Maybe a few of these things could wait till we get back from Drakesburg, and we can maybe have some meaningful things to bring up with them.
And I'm starting to get worried about Gator.
Starting?
Always worried about Gator.
We should probably let him know that we're heading over there, in all fairness. He may even want to come. I don't know. We should probably at least offer him as part of, as he is part of the team.
Somehow I highly doubt he's interested in venturing there.
Likewise.
But he is, I would say, part of the Hand of Aegis.
Yeah, he's invested in what we're doing, so I think to at least give him the option would be reasonable.
And we could always check on the things that Ingrid was making us from the Chimera. They should be ready about now, shouldn't they?
Quite possibly.
So to the 2 halves first? And then Ingfriend's? And then see where we're at?
Aye.
Alrighty.
Because that's just going to be looking out for any new people, including the Goliath, of course, but just in general, any. Figure it's kind of not a ton of new people around every day, so just keeping an eye out if there's anybody
Where? Just in town, or
Just as we're walking around, like not going out of the
Okay.
way, but
make a perception check.
oh, forgot how bad I was at those. That's probably why she ran into
I
a
didn't.
Goliath. Yeesh.
Oh,
It's a net 0.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
Is she able
Duly
just to
noted.
stay on her feet all day?
And whilst we're heading around, also,
Walking
the
around
elf.
like Mr. Magoo.
Cassette notices some dust motes and just gets caught up in their beauty in the morning sunlight.
Sounds about right.
Phil,
Yes.
I can't remember. Did I actually get eyes on the individual that Eska was pursuing?
I think you were inside the Smiths, right, with somebody.
Yeah. I think
Mhm.
You and
outside
Cassette,
was.
maybe, or you and I can't remember.
It was
Well, I used
outside was.
Kedox to.
I think the 3 Kedox did. Yes.
I was mostly just gonna have Kedox kind of just be on the lookout whilst we're traveling, if I could do that.
Yeah. Let's have a perception as well.
10.
Okay. So far, no sign of such things for either Cosette or Kedox. So and just to confirm, Kedox is looking for that was it Moon Elf?
Yeah, because of the other day's incident, that's just a focus on Sylvaris's mind as far as suspicious individuals in town.
Okay, so where to first again?
2 halves.
2 halves. Okay. So you head north with an F. Sure. You head north. All right, you head north. That seems nice. You have fun. All right, so you head north, and then okay. So who's going in?
Definitely clear.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go in.
Yeah, I'll at least walk in to hear stuff. Kedox
Eska,
will stay outside.
Eska will join.
Everyone who wears armor is coming in,
Yeah.
whether they like it or not.
Sylvaris stands outside, and Claire grabs him, and pulls him by the wrist.
Which elf
yeah.
did Eska turn into?
Eska, now you see them. Which elf did you turn into?
Well, I of course went with the one that you told me was walking by. Oh, neither of them were they? Rats.
Nope.
I went with the first one.
It's probably Aaron then.
Aaron, that's the one. I went with Aaron.
And which one is Aaron?
Aaron is the one who's in charge of the sort of general store, essentially.
Which one is Aaron on the board?
Ah, fair. You couldn't. You can't see their names. I can see their names.
What
Makes
do
it
they
a lot easier.
What do they look like again? Because I feel like it's been
Yeah,
a while
that too.
since we've been in
So
here.
they are both half elves. They're both pretty well dressed, actually. Pretty smartly dressed. I mean, you would say that Ephraim is probably has a bit more finesse to her outfit. Just like that little bit of extra touches that just make it look a little bit extra more than Aaron erring more on the practical side. And they are both, unsurprisingly, about 6 feet tall. Less than middle age for an elf, which is very hard to place. Eska, you would probably obviously have the best idea of how old they are. But yeah. And they have kind faces that light up when they see you all walk in again. It's been a little while since you've been in here. And they both kind of come over to welcome you. Hello, friends. Welcome back. How can we help you today?
We're looking for clothes.
I see.
We need to jazz up this Dragonborn.
Oh.
I was under the impression I was not the only one.
That's true. Perhaps you could. Do you? How well do you know the fashions on Drakesburg? Is it pretty similar to over here, or do they have their own sort of look over there? We've never visited, and we're thinking at some point in the future might be interesting to head over.
Well, there's rather a variety depending on how sophisticated the person is. Those of a more noble bearing tend to wear their clothes tighter and somehow simultaneously frilly, creating an interesting dynamic for those who are making their outfits. The working folk, shall we say, tend towards more practical garb, not unlike what you'd see here. Looser, less ostentatious in color, and more affordable.
I would think we'd be just looking for regular things, would we, fellows?
We are simply meaning to blend in the most.
Drab it is, then. Now, and they sort of eye you up, especially you, Silverus. And Ephraim kind of like looks at you, looks at the racks of clothes, looks at you. Challenging. You're rather tall. There's nothing I can give you that could go over what you're wearing and not look ridiculous. However, and she points at Bador and Eska. You're both in studded leather, is that right?
Just leather.
I don't wear armor technically.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, I had to check that.
I'd kind of forgotten. So points at Bador and says, I could easily find something that would go over that, and no one would be the wiser. But yes, the three of you. I just want to say we couldn't find, or you couldn't find something you could wear underneath some clothes if you. But there's no way you could wear all of this. You'd jingle and bulbous in areas that would be peculiar.
If it helps, I think we're going for sort of sightseeing, so I don't think armor's necessarily important.
Well, I mean, that's up to you, of course.
That
I'm just
being
saying.
said, if I am to adorn peasant's clothes, I would prefer a degree of protection, even if it were hidden in its design, as best as possible.
You would most likely need to speak to Semlin or someone like that who could perhaps help you out with something. I can certainly whip up something, or may have something. Yeah, again, you're so very tall. But I may have something that would be suitable and could fit over some of the less substantial forms of armor available.
Indeed.
For the rest of you, it would be no problem finding something for you. He's more of a challenge, but I'm sure we can find it. I'm assuming we're looking at browns and greys. Would that be suitable?
I look around like, do I need anything?
How armored is, like, how obvious is his armor?
His armor?
Like, how armory does it look?
You don't look like a fisherman, but you don't look too out of place in a city, especially somewhere like Drakesburg, where all sorts show up. Besides, there are a fair number of dwarves over there. One more. I mean, most people expect dwarves to be armored in some way, shape, or form. For the ladies here, I mean, Eska, you are obviously already perfectly fine as you are.
I'm wearing your own clothes, of course.
How could I forget? And there's a little wink to suggest that she absolutely did not forget. But for you two ladies, and she rustles through and finds some clothes that are very very plain, and definitely have some breathing room. They're not tight at all, so they wouldn't restrict you if you needed to run or swing something, that sort of thing.
Is it just like cloth stuff? I mean,
Yeah.
mainly all cloth.
Yeah, it's kind of rough, honestly. Like the fabric is rough. It doesn't feel particularly pleasant, but it's durable.
Yeah, Cassette doesn't love this, but she understands.
It's gerbil?
Durable. It's durable. Durable.
Okay.
Durable.
Okay, my bad.
Like gerbil with a D. Durable.
Yep. Well, I was made out of gerbils. A lot of gerbils.
Made out of turtles?
My bad.
So yeah.
Yeah, Claire is used to hand me down, so it seems totally fine
Mhm.
to her.
And yours is definitely a
high.
little baggier than Cassette's. But
What about a matching cloaks to go with it?
oh goodness me, I have cloaks for days. Still in the never mind. Yeah, still in the horrible bland shades, right? And get you're each handed a vaguely boring looking, it actually slightly worn looking cloak. I assumed that you'd probably want one that wasn't looking brand new. So we have these that come pre-distressed. Does a bit more digging and finds something for Silverius, and the shirt looks kind of shirtish, which is good. The lower half is sort of a pair of trousers that sort of balloon around the thigh region for some reason. They stick out far wider than would ever be necessary, and look like they will be somewhat ridiculous. But she just sort of makes a weak smile and says, unfortunately, this is all I have that would fit your leg size, your rather long legs, you see. But work in a pinch. And I've made sure to give you a hooded cloak. I imagine that maybe that would be beneficial for you.
Oh, Dragonborn. Not frequently seen there.
I'm sure there are some there, but maybe not enough that you would be you'd still probably stand out. And I may be wrong, but I was under the impression that perhaps you did not wish to stand out.
That is the effect we are going for.
Very well. Then yes, hooded cloak, I think, will be a good fit. So yeah, the four of you who, the three of you who needed something now have something. And she just says, so it's 3 gold apiece. Is there anything else that you need today?
Did they have any like magical stuff here at all?
I don't think they did the last time you came. You could inquire.
Do you have any magical garb?
Not presently, but we do have a contact out west who was supposed to be sending us something. So maybe check back every now and then and see if it's come in.
Okay.
Of course, you may be too late, who knows, but I'm sure that it will be quickly gone, but we'll see.
You said 3 gold each, so 9.
Indeed.
Got it.
Any other business at the Two Halves?
Well, is the other side is like a general store, right?
Indeed, yes.
I think I'm okay, to be honest.
Where to next?
I know that I want to, Silvarius wants to go to Simlin's to look up lighter gauge armor, something that could fit underneath this drab clothing.
I will ask Silvarius real quick. I'll say to Silvarius, could you see if he has any skinning knives for me?
Should not be a problem.
Thank you. I'll pay you upon if he has one. I'll pay you back.
And you head over, and it's rare. You actually find Semlin not at work for a change. He's just having a little rest, talking to one of the apprentices that you've seen with him previously. The forge is still lit as it has been every time you've come in there, and the heat hits you as soon as you walk through the door. And he sort of finishes conversation briefly and says, hello? How can I help you today?
Semlin, I am currently looking for something more suited to go under this.
And he puts the cloak and other clothes on the table, on the counter.
That does not very well fit over this.
No, it does not. Well, you've got a couple of options, I suppose. You could do some sort of leather armor.
To keep it simple, what offers the most protection while still well hidden?
You could probably get a breastplate under there. Well enough. That would probably be the best thing for you. Aye, yeah.
If it fits, breastplate it is.
Right. Let's see what we got. And he gets up and heads over to to the back wall, and there's just or rather the side wall. There's a huge collection of armor and weaponry and stuff over there. And one of the other apprentices is there, as you know, who sort of mans the what is the equivalent of a cash register, essentially. And he sort of stands up and, as someone approaches, says, "Right, we need breastplate that would fit this big fella." And the apprentice just starts pouring through. Like, you hear, there's a lot of loud clunking as he like lifts through all these different pieces and briefly kind of holds one up in the air and like, nope. Keeps going. Eventually, they find one that looks like it would be a decent enough fit. Right. So we can't check if it fits while you're wearing that. So you'd need to take that off first to be sure. This looks about the right size, give or take.
All right, so he starts taking off his armor.
Like just the top. You can leave the greaves on, whatever you got going on there. That's fine. Oh, I'd forgotten how nice that armor was. That's good stuff. That is. And yeah, so he holds up this piece to you. Hey, yeah, it'll work. Yeah. Put the and he kind of straps you in and then says, "All right, put the thing over it." And as you do that, there is like this. So it's steel breastplate, and it does have kind of like a point that kind of goes like there's a ridge that goes right through the center, and it's a little visible through the cloak, or not the cloak, rather the shirt, but it's not. I mean, people would have to be looking to see it. It's not something you'd necessarily just see.
It's getting colder too, right?
Yes, you're about to get into Uktar, the rotting.
Ooh. Is the ridge kind of like small enough that it could be hidden under just like a draped shoulder cloth or even like a scarf or
yeah, scarf would actually probably be the best way to go.
Okay, yeah. So I was just gonna notice that and be like, it's not a bother.
Right. Good. Okay. So that is that piece there is 400 gold.
Group fund.
Okie dokie. Yeah, Silvarius pulls his gold pouch out, starts looking through it, and Cosette hears. Cosette!
Oh, now I have a name.
Group fund.
Group fund me.
What was it again?
400.
400 gold?
Claire mumbles under her breath, half of what we just made on that one mission for one piece of armor that we just need for one day.
Make a
While she's sipping tea like
Stealth.
Kermit. Like,
yeah.
I mean, nobody
not
else.
did anybody ask me about it, but
Claire, make a stealth check with disadvantage.
Okay.
This is Silvarius just not being told anything.
You said a stealth check.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 11.
Respectable. Semlin just kind of raises an eyebrow and says, I mean, you could maybe rent it? Just a thought. If it's not something you're planning... I mean, it's not as good as the armor you just took off, so, I'm thinking this isn't a long-term deal. We could come to an arrangement for like a week or so.
She looks at Silvarius with a raised eyebrow.
I'm fine with that. How much for a rental?
let's call it. I haven't done one of these in a while. Let me think.
If all goes well, it won't even hardly be used.
Good. Let's call it 20 gold per week. Only in week-long periods, so you take it for a day. It's still going to be 20 gold, mind you. And I'll need some form of, deposit, collateral. I could just hold on to the other armor if you want.
I do not think we are at that level yet.
All right, well, I'll just say, call it 100 gold, just as a good faith. In case something happens to it and then I'm out 400 gold, I won't be out 400 gold. I'll only be out 300 gold.
Well, I cannot argue with that.
Damn right you can't. All right, the boy will take care of the numbers for you. Anything else for you?
Do you have any studded leather armor?
Aye, tons.
Would you be willing to buy what I got on here off of me and then swap it out?
I suppose. Someone will want it eventually. Alright, so let's see. Leather, dwarf size. Probably been taken out in the middle once or twice. Alright, I'll give you 5 off the cost of the studded. So call it 40 gold for the studded.
Fine by me.
Alright, boy, find him some. And he disappears again into a pile of leather armor in the corner, and eventually comes out with one that looks like a good fit for a bar door. Thankfully, there's between the halflings and the dwarfs in town, there's enough demand for smaller sized armor, so easy enough to find.
Excellent. So yeah, like pull off my armor and hand it over.
And someone just reaches over and says, No, don't put it back in the pile yet. That's got to be cleaned. And he just looks at looks at you, Bardorn. No offense, but I've heard of some of where you've been, so you know.
So yeah, I'll give him. I'll dig 40 out of my own pocket.
And he says, by the way, I've been looking at that those bullet plates, and it's coming on nice. I know we talked about getting some half plate together. It's still going to take me a little while, but I think I'll have something quite nice for you by the time it's done. We'll talk about numbers once it's finished and I figure out how potent it is. But I think it's going to be nice. Anything else for you?
Do you happen to carry a set of padded armor?
Aye, sure I do. Boy, find some padded armor for the lady dwarf. And he gives a slightly audible sigh and starts digging through. And no. He pulls one out that's clearly human-sized, and someone just claps around the back of there. Come on, use your eyes, man. And eventually he finds something that looks like it would be Claire-sized. It's just 5 gold for that one.
She will happily pay that out of her own pocket.
And I paid the 10 platinum for the deposit.
Right, okay.
And what of you, Cosette?
So what did Claire got? Padded armor? Just like Something to go underneath the clothes.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just the like quilted cloth and stuff that goes underneath the dress. It's light armor. It's classified as light.
Yep, and
So
very
what-
easy to fit under regular
Yeah.
garb.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It would be the least noticeable.
Mhm.
Yeah, because anything leather, even like
You're gonna creak a little bit.
Yeah.
Which,
So
I
yeah,
mean,
like,
may or may not be noticeable, depending on how loud the city is.
well, she's gonna be feel like a ninja compared to what she normally walks around in. Yeah, I guess the cloth. I don't think it makes sense to worry about something else. So what was that, 4 gold?
5. Right. Well, thank you. You're all going to look lovely.
One more item.
Oh,
A skinning knife.
a skinning knife. Why? Now, when you say a skinning knife, like how nice are we talking here? Because let me tell you, I've got some very nice pieces here, and he reaches up onto the wall and brings down one that has a bone handle, polished bone, with a bronze blade, about 6 inches in length, that just glistens with the light coming off of the forge, and shimmers beautifully. This is probably the best one I've got. I mean, not to toot my own horn here, but this is some of the finest woven craftsmanship you're gonna find. Or
He picks it up and
got crappy steel ones too. It feels very nice. It's actually really nicely balanced. And you just kind of touch the blade, and you can feel how sharp it is. You barely press against your finger, and you can see it's already like threatening to cut through, almost instantly.
Dwarven craftsmanship still impresses me.
We don't mess about. Folks like me, we're born to the forge.
he kind of holds it, stares at it for a while.
This should do.
That one
How
is
much?
that one is 10 gold. Because it's nice.
Puts a platinum on the table. Counter.
That'll do. Well, if that'll be all, I got to get this forge going. It's getting late. And as soon as he says that, the apprentice who he was talking to earlier hurries over and starts pumping the bellows to get some heat going into the forge, and it starts getting awfully sweltery.
We check outside to make sure Eska didn't wander off with some random elf again.
Eska's still there.
Nope, she's gone. Oh, okay.
Eska, make a perception check for me.
Or is she?
Oh, natural 20 this time for 24.
Okay. So you've been sort of just keeping an eye out as you're sitting there. No sign of the moon elf that you encountered previously. No sign of like Goliath that barged into Cassette the other day. But you do notice what you would guess based on the sort of coppery skin and lithe figure would be a wood elf who has walked past the Smith house 3 times in the time that they've been in there.
Male or female?
Female. Doesn't seem to pause, doesn't seem to be looking, just you clocked that this was unusual because most people you see walk past once and then you don't see them again.
Yeah. I just make a mental note of that.
Okay. And as you make a mental note, we will end for the night. Thank you very much for listening, watching, whatever it is you're doing. We will come back next time as the Hand of Aegis will finish preparing. They've done some pre-preparing. Now they're going to post-prepare to head, finally, possibly, to Drakesbury. We'll see. It's probably going to be like 10 more sessions the way they're going. But yes, come back for more Fables from the Pickled Quipper. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.